Hello and welcome to Crypto Ride. My name's Anthony and this is the channel that gives you the information needed to become an informed crypto investor. Today we're going to define the 4 stages of a market cycle and predict where the crypto market capitalization is headed in the coming months. Before we get started, I need to thank our new subscribers and remind you to hit that like button and subscribe to stay informed. Here we go. Lately I've been reading up and studying on market cycles. It's helping give me a lot of perspective because when I first started investing in cryptocurrencies, I didn't really have an understanding of this. I knew that I wanted to buy low and sell high, but I began investing in January, which in hindsight was probably the wrong part of the cycle. So I'm making this video for you guys to make sure you don't fall into the same trap that I did. And I want to always remind you to have an awareness of where you are in a cycle before making an investment. Here's what I learned. I was looking at this article on Investopedia and it broke this down into 4 phases, which is the accumulation phase, the markup phase, the distribution phase, and the markdown phase. Now, the accumulation phase is the phase that occurs, and I'm just reading here, you can follow along. The phase that occurs after the market has bottomed and the innovators and early adopters begin to buy, figuring the worst is over. Okay, at this point, valuations are very attractive. The market sentiment is still bearish. Again, when we talk about a bearish market, we're talking about prices that are going down long term. Because we need to figure out if prices are going down and up, because if you can determine you're on the down swing or down phase in a cycle, then you really don't have to rush to buy the weekly low. You can wait because the prices will inevitably come down, and that's why this stuff is so important. Okay, phase 2 is the markup phase. At this stage, the market has been stable for a while and is beginning to move higher. The early majority are getting on the bandwagon. This group includes technicians who, seeking the market is putting higher lows and higher highs, recognize the market direction and sentiment have changed. Phase 3, and we're going to break down all of these where I think we are, and this is a good graphic on the bottom I'll show you too. I'll scroll this up so you can see it. But right, so there's accumulation, there's markup, and then here's distribution. Now in hindsight, if you bought into this market sometime around when I did, meaning I got in at the beginning of January, you probably got in towards the tail end of a markup phase or the beginning of a distribution phase. Now in the distribution phase, sellers begin to dominate, meaning the price starts to go down. This part of the cycle is identified by a period in which the bullish sentiment of the previous phase turns into a mixed sentiment. Prices can often stay locked in a trading range that can last a few weeks or even months. And this distribution phase for Bitcoin did last a few months. And finally, if you look there, you have the markdown phase, which I believe is what I have just lived through as an investor. The 4th and final phase of the cycle is the most painful for those who still hold positions. Many hang on because their investment has fallen below what they paid for. It is only when the market has plunged 50% or more that the laggards, many of who bought during the distribution or early markdown phase, give up or capitulate. But the good thing is, after a markdown, we begin the accumulation. Because again, what goes up must come down, or in this case, what goes down must come up. So if you've decided to hold or hodl like me and continue to add on throughout all of this markdown part of the cycle, you could be setting yourself up. And of course, no one really knows when the bottom is. We all want to buy the bottom, obviously, but no one really knows when that is. But in my opinion, I think we're getting close. If you look at this chart, it looks a lot like what just happened to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market capitalization as a whole. So you have this euphoria phase. Big bull markets usually go out in a big boom, and they have this euphoric phase where people make these life-changing gains, and they start thinking, as you can read here, that they're a genius and they're going to be rich, and they're making all sorts of profits that can really, again, change their lives. And then what'll happen is things will start to tail off, and as you just read some of these, it tells you some of the names of these kind of emotions you might be feeling and what happens mentally when this market goes down. in these different types of different parts of the cycle, right? Some anxiety, some denial, some panic. And here is where I believe we are right around now, is right probably where it says depression, where it's really red there. History shows and cyclical patterns show that we could potentially be heading back up. Now, bear in mind, I am not a professional financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. I'm just someone who does their due diligence, and I try and share what I learn with you guys. But these videos are just for educational and entertainment purposes. So don't go buying everything just because I say so. You have to do your own research. Here's the total market capitalization from November 2017 to current day. And you can see, obviously, we had this euphoric stage right at the very end of December, beginning of January. Then you see this correlating really, really similarly to what we just saw. So that being said, my prediction would be that we are entering an accumulation phase. I think some of the prices we're seeing right now are nearing the lowest points, which could mean we are potentially maximizing profits. I just wanted to make this video for you guys to help you understand the cyclical manner that markets behave. I think it's going to be a wild ride in the future, pun intended. On that note, I want to thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any price predictions for Bitcoin for end of year 2018. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below in the comment section. And aside from that, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.